Wong Ling wasn't exactly the most charming guy. In fact, he felt pretty low, ugly, lonely, and worthless. But with a twist of fate, he discovered some crazy powers that let him bend time and space. Legend has it that he even walked out of his mom's womb like a boss. Yet, all he really cared about were ramen noodles. So when a giant frog invaded his city and made him drop his precious ramen, Wong lashed out and took down the S-rank calamity in one blow. He kept that power under wraps, though, just to fit in. Fast forward to his first day at school, and he was picked on by some seniors who taunted him for having the lowest force value, demanding his pocket money. Just when things looked bleak, a fiery streak knocked those bullies down. Enter the school's hottest girl, Sun Ram, who swooped in, sending the bullies running. After that, she assured Wong that she'd always have his back. But how did he respond? Later, the principal gathered everyone for an entrance exam to gauge their spirit force powers. The top scorers would get into the elite class. First up was this not-so-great guy, Cook Shuan. When he stepped in and saw the giant frog, he freaked out. This was the same frog Wong had defeated ages ago. When Cook tried to fight it, it was clear that he didn't stand a chance. One by one, students got knocked out until Chen Chao came along. He unleashed some hidden power and scored over 900, assuring his spot in the elite class. Then it was Sun's turn. She charged at the frog and managed to land a punch, scoring over 2,000 and claiming the top spot. Finally, it was Wong's turn. He was determined to keep his true strength hidden, wanting to appear ordinary. But as soon as he stepped into the water, the frog sensed him and remembered their past encounter. The frog retaliated, trying to burn him to ashes. But instead, Wong calmly advanced, and with just the wind from his kick, he knocked the frog out cold while enjoying his noodles. The background music played again, and Wong feigned effort, but when he got close, he unleashed a power so immense it knocked the frog out without even touching it, earning a score too high for the screen to handle. As the frog began to disintegrate, Sun noticed something was off. Wong figured out the frog was just faking it to dodge pain. The examiner congratulated him for being accepted into the elite class. In the first class, the teacher introduced them to spirits they could summon from other dimensions based on their force levels. Chan attempted to show off, but everyone laughed at him. Sun summoned a stray dog, but questioned how much power it took to summon a real spirit beast. The teacher then wondered why Wong was sitting alone in the corner, so he decided to give it a shot too. But when he sensed all the creatures around him, a huge explosion occurred, and the frog from the exam was baffled to see Wong's face again. To save the day, the teacher sent Sun's dog toward the frog, turning it into a puppy, and she asked if he liked peanut butter. Wong, however, had a feeling this wouldn't end well and tried to sneak out of class. He's been by himself his whole life. His dad was even waiting for him to be born, only to see the nurse come out of the delivery room in tears. But surprise, his son wasn't dead. He saw Wong making his entrance into the world like a total champ. Every day, he'd sit back and read the room, taking in all the lies his parents told each other and enduring their endless arguments. To help save their marriage, he put his brain power to work, imagining all kinds of outcomes, and decided to urinate right in front of them. Believe it or not, that was how his pee saved the day. As time went on, he even figured out how to manipulate gravity. By the time he turned 6, he could take down monsters that were ranked calamity level. This prompted his dad to start experimenting on him, ultimately creating a secret seal to hide Wong's crazy powers. Still, that wasn't enough to stop him from nearly breaking a bowl just by touching it. So his mom started giving him her precious golden orbs to keep his spiritual abilities in check. Despite their love for him, his parents were desperate to help him lead a normal life. I mean, even simple things like blowing out birthday candles turned into disasters. One time, they set their whole house on fire. Then at 10, his friends almost knocked out just from getting near him. But for the first time in 10 years, he finally saw how hard his parents were trying to give him a good life. So, until they found a way to keep his powers in check, he decided to steer clear of anything that would trigger his emotions, except for ramen noodles, of course. One day at school, he noticed ramen was on sale, and a random guy bought out the entire store, saying he'd give everyone what they wanted if they voted for his son as president. The guys were furious that she'd stoop so low for some votes, but Wong offered her 5 of his votes for 5 packs of noodles. She had to wonder why he was the only one willing to help her. After snagging those noodles, the other guys saw they could score free food just by voting for her. But Chen was determined to beat her. Seeing how everyone fell for her act, she used her charm to control their minds. But when she looked around, Wong was nowhere to be found.
All that was left was his golden pill, which he intended to repay her with for the noodles. When class started, Sun noticed Wang seemed immune to her charm. Despite her efforts to overpower him, she started to wonder if she'd ever get the pill back. As he tried signaling her for it, she misinterpreted and thought he wanted her to eat his round golden ball. So she went ahead and swallowed it to boost her power. At that moment, he realized she was in deep trouble, and it felt like she'd just fallen from the sky. Her seductive spell broke, and the teacher called her up to demonstrate the art of seduction. But just as she stepped up, she slipped on a can and nearly fell. Wang had to show off and prove he was the protagonist of this anime. But instead of being a hero, he just dropped her to the ground, breaking the spell on everyone. Before class ended, the teacher announced Chen was elected president for their grade. As Wang walked away, he knew those moves were definitely a secret technique for unleashing some serious abilities. Later that night, Sun couldn't shake the thought of why Wang messed up her spell after helping her at the shop, and all she wanted was for him to get out of her head. The next morning, Chen showed up with a huge cauldron for their pill refinery test, thinking Sun would fall for his giant cauldron. But his friend could see he was overcompensating for something. Then, when she arrived in a limo, there was a whole band serenading her entrance, plus about 30 bodyguards. Realizing he couldn't let anyone steal her away, as we take on this incredible universe, let's not forget about Chen, who's stuck being an ugly loser that his lifelong crush never wanted. Wang instantly sensed that he had caught her attention. Using all his confidence, he brushed her face, defying the laws of physics like it was nothing. They couldn't help but wonder if this was one of those new red pill techniques he was trying out, as things heated up between them. That day, in class, the teacher was racing through how to create a golden pill, but honestly, none of the students had any clue about passing the class. Meanwhile, Chen was busy digging a grave for Wang, while Wang was over there using the microwave to refine some ore. Chen felt totally outmatched, but showed off his magical furnace. She wished she had something like that one day, but after giving another guy some attention, Chen's cauldron exploded in his face, making him run off in tears. Once he was gone, the teacher announced they'd wait 7 hours for the ores to finish refining. After class, Wang's dog was ready to chow down on the house cauldron. Luckily, Wang got there just in time to stop it. But then his frog jumped out the window, and he was off chasing it. Of course, that was part of his plan to outsmart Chen. When he turned back, he realized Wang was right behind him, begging for mercy. Meanwhile, Chen was still sobbing because he hadn't gotten a girl and was terrified his dad would kill him for wrecking their family treasure and failing to get first place. Just then, Wang left with House Furnace, but Chen couldn't figure out why he was trying to take it and pointed his paintball gun at Wang. Wang insisted he meant no harm, but Chen demanded an explanation before he sent him to another world. At that moment, Chen's mind snapped, and he saw her running off with Wang, which sent demons inside him screaming that he was a pathetic loser as his crush walked away. Determined to get rid of the evil keeping them apart, Chen shot his poison weapon at Wang, but Wang dodged just in time, causing Chen to accidentally swallow all of it. Chen screamed because he forgot to say no homo. They dragged him back into the room and wondered if he'd survive drinking so much poison. Knowing they could get expelled, Chen begged Wang to whip up an antidote.
So they gathered what they needed and set the cauldron with a 4-hour timer. But then they realized the teacher would return in just 2 hours, and Froggy was back to trying to eat the cauldron. Chen had to cast away Froggy to keep him from messing things up. Checking on the furnace, they found out Froggy's fire had actually sped things up. They decided to make him work harder using his powers. When Froggy explained that his time-manipulating abilities could destroy the world, they knew they had to use it to their benefit. Once the antidote was ready, they tested it on Wang's dog, because no animals were harmed in this video, at least none you should care about. They tried giving Chen the pill, but when Chen heard the teacher's footsteps, he sprinted outside to stall for time. But when they walked in, the teacher was ready to check if anything had been refined. Chen pleaded with her not to expel him. She saw he had actually refined one of the orbs and realized Wang sacrificed his own pill for his friend. But then it was Chen's turn, and the teacher yelled at him for making explosives. Watching Wang swap Chen's orb for his own just to help him made Chen realize how great a friend Wang was.
What he didn't know was that the pill had been there the whole time while they were cleaning the furnace. They cooked it without either of them realizing it. Chen's microwave was as useless as he was, but nothing compared to the cauldron that had Chen in it, except perhaps Chen's face. When he finally woke up, he discovered his furnace was repaired, and Chen told him to thank Wang for all his efforts, sparking a new friendship between them. The next day, after school, she approached who still seemed like the useless, ugly guy he was, but instead of being the hunter, she seemed to be the one being hunted. Without missing a beat, she asked Wang if he wanted to go on a date tomorrow, but he just stared at her with that same goofy face. At the same time, the hunters got orders to shoot her, but Wang deflected their shots with just a glance. The teacher called him out of class and asked him why he was avoiding her. At that moment, the snipers retreated at their boss's command. Froggy, observing from afar, witnessed everything unfold. Chen thought Wang was saying yes to the date when he was just answering the teacher. Excitement bubbled up as she thought she was going on a date with him tomorrow. The whole school was baffled by how this ugly guy managed to snag a girl. If he could do it, why couldn't they? A cute bunny girl thought things were about to get interesting. In the office, the principal requested the teacher leave immediately and then introduced himself as Ju, the one who had seen Wang defeat the frog years ago. He dropped to his knees begging Wang to be his master, but Wang cast 50% of his magic to make Ju forget everything. Alone, Froggy informed Wang about some assassins. That night, as Wang slept, he had nightmares about Sun's crazy antics. When he finally got out of bed in his bunny costume, he noticed Sun waiting outside his window, accompanied by her entire army, wishing he would just disappear. Normally, his parents wouldn't approve, but they thought their son would never bring a girl home, so they urged him to be careful. His dad wondered how he was even born when he always used protection, while his mom told him not to worry about the details. On the phone, his friends wished him a fantastic night of plot twists. Without realizing it, his parents pushed him outside. Sun jumped in and told him he could do whatever he wanted in the back. Curious, as they drove off, the assassins were still on their tail. Sun revealed she was taking him to the Heavenly Paradise Carnival, an entire castle built for her to enjoy time with her loved one, and she confessed this was her first visit. Wang squirmed, wondering why he was stuck with her, but she laughed, pointing out his looks were even worse. Once they arrived, she told all the guards to back off because Wang was tougher than any of them. However, just 5 minutes later, the assassins neutralized all the guards before a prophecy wall. Sun dragged Wang to discover their future together, and at that exact moment, an assassin fired his shot. But Wang slowed down time, caught the bullet with his mouth, and flung it back, sending the assassin flying.